Have some major breaking news as it has been officially confirmed that 23M Racing and Farmer Motorsports will be open teams for this weekend at Dover and next week in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to your video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive major breaking news as it's been confirmed that 23M Racing and Farmer Motorsports will be open teams starting this weekend at Dover. Here's what's been reported by Bob Pockers. 23M Racing and Farmer Motorsports will be open teams for at least upcoming races at Dover and Indianapolis after they were denied a temporary restraining order to keep NASCAR from revoking their charter status. Continuing on, the judge noted that NASCAR said there won't be more open entries and spots in the field at Dover and Indy. He said if that changes, he would immediately reconsider its denial of a TRO, which for those who don't know what TRO is, that means a temporary restraining order. This also continues by saying the judge said because they will make races over the next couple weeks and because they won't lose their drivers or sponsors before a decision or a preliminary injunction, there is an irreparable harm and therefore teams can't get temporary restraining order. This is a really big deal. We kind of talked about this a little bit on the channel that we were kind of expecting this decision to be officially announced and confirmed. Let's go back to last year. Of course, 23M Racing and Front Row were looking for a preliminary injunction so they could compete as charter teams for the 2025 season. Then, of course, NASCAR appealed that decision, and they basically denied that back when they had the court hearing. Basically, the judges were basically against the teams at 23M Racing and Front Row Motorsports. They were trying to be competing as organizations and teams because what was stated was there are charter and contracts of the drivers like Tyler Reddick, Bubba Walls, Noah Gragson, Corey Heim as well, I believe, has this, Riley Herbst, Zane Smith, and Todd Gillen. All of them having contracts or they are required to have charters in their deals. If they don't have it, there's a chance and possibility that they could leave the organization and the teams. That's why they were, at the beginning of the year, were granted that temporary restraining order or that temporary preliminary injunction. Then NASCAR appealed it back in May, and then, of course, it was confirmed about a month or so ago that they would become open teams about a couple weeks after the decision was finalized. Then, of course, they were asked the judge and all 15 judges that are part of the appeal, not just the 3 that heard it originally, but they asked the whole panel, all 15 on the District Court of Appeals, they asked them if they were going to hear the whole case and rehear it once again. Well, it was confirmed about a week or so ago that that was going to be denied. I believe it was confirmed on Thursday or Friday of last week that that was going to be denied, and we were expecting that they were going to, of course, file for another preliminary injunction, as Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi noted during the teardown during the weekend, and then, of course, they filed for it, and they have basically sold decisions that could happen on that front. This does not entirely mean, though, that they are going to be open teams for the remainder of 2025. It's only currently at the moment for this weekend at Dover and next week in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now, if more open teams do show up, and we've seen currently at the moment that MBM and Garage 66 are going to show up with Josh Bilicki next weekend. We've had confirmation also that Cat Lake is going to run the Brickyard 400. There were rumors about Junior Motorsports running it. Those have been kind of at this point is basically we know that Carson Quaffle is just going to be having a really cool paint scheme. That one he ran at Darlington. So we only have 2 confirmed open entries at this point outside of the 2011 and Front Row cars. So 38 cars are attempting, but I would not be surprised if you see more teams show up. I don't remember if RCR has another car. I can't remember exactly for sure at this point, but if they may run a third car, who knows at this particular moment in point. Now, the other big thing, though, is that NASCAR, if I'm not mistaken, if I read correctly, they are not allowed to sell those charters at this time. There is a chance that they could be able to sell those charters, but right now they basically can't. They're not selling them at this time. But the big thing is that there is a chance that this could change. If we do have more than 36 cars or we do have more than 40 cars that do show up, then it can basically change it and say you can't do this anymore. We're not going to have this temporary restraining order anymore. What this means that, at least for right now, both organizations and teams will be unchartered cars. What this also means is that they will not get as much of the charter money going forward. We do not know at this point if it is going to be required. The judge did not confirm that today, but it's expected more than likely that they will be required to pay back the money that they've received as charter organizations and teams they've received through the 20 races of the year for all 6 cars, which I believe is like tens of millions of dollars for each car, if I'm not mistaken, considering all the charter teams make a ton of money. NASCAR wants to redistribute all that money back to the organizations and teams, all 30 cars that did sign the charter agreement, all 13 organizations like Hendrick Motorsports, Trackhouse Racing, Roush Fenway RFK Racing, Team Penske, the Wood Brothers, Colleague Racing, you name it, all those organizations that did sign the charter agreement, that signed Aspire Motorsports as well, and not these 2 organizations that did receive it. The big question now is that they haven't, of course, the temporary restraining order has been denied at this point. The big question now, let's say they don't get the preliminary injunction in the next couple weeks. weeks. What does this mean? Well, this could mean that all the drivers and the teams could walk away and leave their organizations. There is a potential chance that Tyler Reddick now could end up becoming a free agent. But here's one thing to know. It wasn't mentioned today, but I think the best situation here is, again, it's noted that they will be open teams. But I think the best outcome, best situation that could come from this deal is basically NASCAR cannot sell those charters until the court cases deal, and those charters are put into an escrow account. There are teams, apparently according to NASCAR, that are interested in buying charters from Xfinity, IndyCar, and probably even the Cup Series as well. We know RFK Racing is trying to become a 3-car team in 2026. They would like to have 3 charters and not be part of the Rick Racing situation. You've got the lawsuit with Legacy Motor Club. They're trying to have a 3-car team at this point. They're trying for that to happen right now. Rick Ware, TJ Pusher's team, they're trying to have a 3-car team. I'd have to think RCR, they were interested last year having a 3rd-car team. We thought maybe Chandler Smith was going to go there at one point. We thought maybe Noah Gragson. We talked about that last year. Noah Gragson's name got brought up as a possibility because of the Bass Pro Shop stuff. Eventually, he did, of course, go to Front Row. Probably should have taken the RCR deal, considering at this point he would have had security and job security at this point. But I think for Tyler Reddick, that's the other big question too, is what does this mean for Tyler Reddick? Does Tyler Reddick go and find another team to go to? Does he go to Spire Motorsports? Does he go to Hendrick Motorsports? I don't think Alex Bowman deserves to leave his seat, but could Hendrick basically force Alex Bowman out for a year? I don't think that's something that will most likely happen, considering Bowman's had some good runs this year and has generally been really good. But I think at the same time, do they go down that route? That could certainly be a possibility. And there's a lot of drivers that are going to be free agents at the end of next year. Justin Haley, who we've heard rumors about him maybe losing his seat at the end of this year. People have been talking about that recently. We know there's interest in maybe Daniel Suarez going over there potentially, or going to Legacy Motor Club if they do become a 3-car team. Also, Jesse Liv could also be a potential possibility as well for that seat if he does go to Cup. But I'm very interested to see what happens throughout the remainder of this lawsuit at this point and what more information does come out from this. Quick update that just came out. Judge on the TRO denial. The court understands NASCAR's agreement to be that it will not transfer or convey charters in any matter, not just through a sale. If NASCAR intended otherwise, it is directed to immediately inform the court prior to undertaking any transaction. So what this means, as the judge just confirmed there, that they are going to have to tell the courts involved in this that if they're going to be selling these charters to other organizations and teams, then they have to tell the courts that this is going to happen. They're not barred from doing it, but if they're going to do it, they have to tell the courts. So they can't just go behind the scenes and basically sell the charters to anybody and not tell the courts, the people that are part of the situation there. One other thing that needs to be made very, very clear. This does not have a full effect on the whole entire lawsuit. This is just a part for the preliminary injunction from last year. This does not have a full effect on the case. It also does not remove playoff eligibility for any of the drivers. I believe for the qualifying side of things, and I could be wrong on this, but if you attempt to qualify for every single race, you are granted a spot. If you miss the field because you do, of course, there's more cars make it in. You don't have to, I believe, apply for a waiver, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think you have to apply for a waiver if you attempt to qualify for every single race. I'm going to be very interested to see what happens with the remainder of the lawsuit, at least throughout the rest of the time, though, because I think, again, if 2311 Racing from, or let's say they win the lawsuit, they'll get their charters back more than likely and get a ton of money back at this point. But nonetheless, it's a really, really big deal that it's now officially confirmed that 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports are now open teams, at least for the next 2 weeks, and we'll see what happens the remainder of this case going forward. But there's a big story to watch for as time progresses and goes on with the remainder of this lawsuit. So that is going to take special breaking news on Port and then being confirmed that 2311 and Front Row will be open teams starting this week in Dover for the next couple of weeks. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on so if when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go to the more of that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What thoughts about the news that came out today? Let me know it in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have multiple NASCAR news videos on the channel. We're going to talk about some of the schedule rumors that have been coming out. We're going to talk about Chicagoland. We're going to talk about this lawsuit update once again with 2311 in Front Row, all the information that came out today on it. We'll talk about San Diego and that track expected to be on the schedule again. Chris Wright no longer having a ride with our Motorsports. That's a big story. We're going to have content coming out. People like Haley Deegan, Shane Gisbergen, and Cards, Kurt Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Ryan Preece, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Carson Quaffle, Junior Motorsports, Connor Zilic, Brad Keselowski, Cletus Zafar, Dodge Ram, Frankie Muniz, Riley Herbst, Noah Gragson. Silly season will probably probably have a silly season update dropping pretty soon with this news coming out today. And then, of course, this weekend we're going to have reactions to Xfinity Series and Cup Series races from Dover as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.